let me put it for emphasis. If you're going to wash the plate that you have some kind of oil there, what do? You do soap, detergent to wash them. If you don't, if you just put ordinary water, what happens? It's not going to be clean. Now, the fruits and the vegetables are the soap for us to help clean our vessels. And because we're not taking them regularly, those arteries get clogged, and then you start breathing. You just walk a couple steps, and you start breathing, and they get blocked, and that's why the blood pressure goes up, and that's why diabetes and all the other things sets in. But when we exercise and also use those things regularly, they helps our vessels moving. Now, why is this important? It's the same vessels that goes to the brain, and so when it's blocked and it can't go to the brain, you get what is called stroke, right? When it goes to the heart and the heart is blocked, what do you have? Heart attack. When it goes to the eyes and it's blocked, what do you have? Blindness. There's a lot of people that are blind because of cholesterol. For real. There are some people that have their legs amputated. They have half legs because of what? Cholesterol had blocked the vessels to their legs, right? There are so many men who are taking Viagra that they don't need to take. Why? Because the vessels to their right organs are blocked, and all they need to do is what? Exercise and take fruits and vegetables. Right? If you need to ask further questions, we'll talk about that. All right, I just gave you a list of couple stuff. Most of them were used to them, right? Now, I talked about this. Recently, the CDC did a studies, Center for Disease Control, and did that. If you see people that reduce the salt they take, I'm going to talk about the salt just for a little second. The salt that most of us take in this country is about 5 times the normal. Ask me why. 5 times the normal. Now, the normal is about 2,500 milligrams. That's, the spoon, the tablespoonful level. That's all we should take normally for all the food the whole day put together. But the last time I checked, the cereal has a salt, the peanut has a salt, right? Every canned soup has a salt. Salt is used as preservatives, and then we add some couple salt again. That's why our blood pressure never seems to be going down. We just cap on the salt and add the salt. So what do? Reduce the salt intake, adjust your mouth, which we can. The potassium salt, which is what you have in Mrs. Dash, they don't employ me, but because they have that, it's much more tolerable than what we use. Now, recently I took a couple of children with another adults to the Blue Mountains for a retreat, and I saw for the 3 days we were there, I was just watching. None of the children took any fruit or vegetable. None of them. For the 3 days we were there, they had every other thing. I watched them morning, afternoon, night. They would take the pizza slides and take the, name it, every other thing they took. There was no fruit and vegetable for morning, afternoon, night for 3 days. Right? So, mothers, what are you breathing? It means you're not eating them or you're not giving it to them. Yes. Mine was involved. After that, it's changed. Right? Yes. That was about October last year. So it's not too long ago. And I saw that that's the trend. And that's why we have. So there's so many ways. The reason why I say this is that there's so many ways we can do this, not only for ourselves, but also for our children and also for our generation. Why are we surprised that Moses could live up to 120 years and he didn't have a high blood pressure? The Bible says his force never decreased and his eyes were not dim. He wasn't wearing glasses like mine, right? Because what? They were walking all the mountains in the wilderness. They were walking, they were not driving cars. I'm not saying we should drive our cars, but don't take them to the bathroom, right? do some walking. We need them. Everybody needs that. And eat all the fruits and the vegetables. Add them onto what we have. I'm going to show you a few other things just to move very quickly. Most of what I'm giving is actually on my website, and you feel free to visit the website as much as you can, as soon as you can. Now, I put that because you can have dry fruits, you can have dry, most of those ones have some healing factors in them. I'm going to talk about the carbs and the protein as well. Now, for one reason or the other, we don't, even if we have to use, we actually be eating our fruits and not drinking the juice. It's okay to drink the juice, but if you're drinking them, make sure they're 100% juice. All those other sugar sweetened drinks cause us trouble. I'm going to talk about sugar for a second. We all consume about 7 times the amount of sugar in this country. How many people have eaten cakes lately? They're so sugarized, right? That's fine. If they're occasional food, that's understandable. But when they become everything, even soup that's bought, even some of these soups that are canned soups, they have sugar in them. Have you watched lately? Check the food labels. You'll be amazed that everything you have. And what's the problem? What happens is that you will now have, once you take the normal blood sugar for you and I is about 80 to 100 milligrams. But once we take an extra sugar, let's say you take some now and finish eating within an hour, your blood sugar goes up to about 200. If you don't need it, what happens? It stays in your tummy. That's why we carry big tummies around. And if it doesn't stay there, it says at the back, it's called truncal obesity. Where are the trunks? Right? Trunks? Where we put our stuff, right? Now, that's what happens. That's where the fat go from sugar. Some people run away from that, and what do they take? They take the sweeteners. As far as the liver is concerned, the sweeteners are nothing but sugar, because they're going to go back to sugar. So it's a temporary deceit. The thing has shown that we're taking 7 times the amount of sugar we're supposed to eat. Every American. It's a crazy stuff, and that's why type 2 diabetes is so much. The latest statistics is that we have almost about 20 million Americans that are diabetic already in this country. And also, hypertensive, over 65 million Americans have high blood pressure. Most of them are connected to the sugar, which is turned back to the fat, and which is running in our vessels. See ways that we can use that. I'm going to run very quickly just for sake of time. Now I put that there. Let me go.
Oh, there's a baby. Oh my God.
All right. It's jumped on. That's not what I wanted, but I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'll talk about that. I had a slide of Maggie there. I hope I can get it back. How many of us know Maggie Cube? Yes, Maggie Cube or the Maggie, M-A-G-G-I, or Nor. There's so many, the little cubes you put in your soup to make it taste better. Bouillon cube, yeah, bouillon, okay. Have you checked what is in it lately? Who checked? One single one of that cube, that little one, has at least twice the normal amount of salt I said you should have per day. Twice. So once you put one in, you're taking salt for 2 days. That's number one. That's the first thing. Secondly, it's made from palm oil. Palm oil. I'm sure most of you don't know that. It's actually made from palm oil. Palm oil is the only palm oil, the red oil, is the only kind of plant oil that has saturated fat. Saturated fat means that the body cannot break it down, and so it stays in the vessel, right? Again, it has the chicken and the meat fat is processed and hydrogenated. Now there's something called partially hydrogenated fat. Check your food label the next time you pick them. They're very dangerous to the vessels. They actually help it to clog. And finally, it has MSG, monosodium glutamate. Those are the things in the Maggi or the Knorr. So what am I saying? If you have them, please trash them. You don't need them. We'll talk about that later. That's a challenge for us to look for, but they're not good. Otherwise, you keep taking antihypertensive, and you take the Maggi and the Knorr, and then your blood pressure refuses to go down, and then you just keep a continuous cycle, right? There's a couple of vegetables that we can use. You see a couple of veggies, examples there. Now I put the wheat or the white bread there. Huh? When I say the white and the wheat bread, for one reason or the other, most of us don't ever like the wheat bread. You like it? Wonderful, right? Do you know the difference between the wheat and the white bread? Who knows? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. You see, the white bread is from the white flour. And what do? They bleach, it's bleach to give that color. The original color is the wheat, right? And when they do that, all the nice vitamins and all the nice things that are actually healthy for you and I to help us dissolve the fat are bleached off. And that's what we have in the white bread. Now, one of the reasons they do that is that now this is now digested very quickly. This will be digested very quickly in the system. So if you eat about 12 of this, you're going to come back in another 5-10 minutes. You want more. Whereas 4 of that will take you. So this is actually designed to eat more so you can buy more. But it's an empty stuff. It's not only empty, it's dangerous for the system. Can I say that again? This is what to do. This is the real stuff. I think I have a couple of pictures that you saw the other time. We'll try and see whether I can get them. I talked about the meat. We can have them, right? Daily recommendations for that. Some of the things that we could do with that. Oil. Olive oil is the best oil, even though most of us use them as praying oil. It's good, but it's the best oil to eat, the virgin olive oil, yes. What do we drink? Water, 100% juice. Avoid the sweetness. That's the red oil I talked about. Right? Next time you buy something, please look for the partially hydrogenated fat or trans fat. If they're in that food, run away from them. Right? Please do. They're very common. I'll say very quickly that I can do this for the next hour and a half, but I'm going to stop. And I will just want to let you know that we can reach the goal. Cancer, HIV, and all those other issues are they're not totally rare, but there's some that chicken change compared with issues of heart. About 1 million people have heart attacks every year in America, and 2/3 of them we lose them from what we clock our arteries for. We have about 1.5 billion people with hypertension in the whole world, and we're only about 3 billion adults. That means 1 in 2. So in this room, if I take statistics, almost 1 in 3 people are on antihypertensive. If you correct your drug, correct your food and exercise, you can drop all those.